So this is management by statistics. What we're looking at is the window already set up. The program is networked. You could have this on several computers. Right now I'm signed in as Mark Netcher here, and I have several companies here. I'm selecting this company. You can create as many companies as you want. In each company you can create employees. This is a list of employees I created. Each employee can have one or more posts. I can go to the list of posts and check who the hierarchy of my company, who are juniors and seniors. And in this company I have created some statistics. If I go to all statistics, I will see those here automatically. So I'll be back in a second. So I'm resuming this little tour of Management by Statistic 3. On the left side here I select one graph, for example new patients. Any statistic I select of course will be displayed. That's because I'm in all statistics. I can only see them here one by default. So if I click patient visits, to enter values you do that on the right. It's very simple. I can go to values by statistic, select this particular graph in this case. Let's say I enter a value here of 8. If I save it, you will see the change on the graph appear. Of course, if I delete it, it'll appear as well. If you have values in Excel, you can easily export, or you can copy from Excel into Management by Statistics to populate this list. You can also copy to Excel, of course. You can also export any graph. I make a right click on any graph. If I go export to Excel, I can export a particular kind of graph, and it, of course, all the values will be exported in Excel as well. It's going to export exactly what I'm looking at. I'll be right back. So I can also enter values in a different way. I could select values by period here. In this case, I would select a particular date, for example, today. And here there is a filter. If I select daily, I will view all my daily stats, and I can just enter a value in each of those. Click on save, and I will have updated all my particular list. In statistics by groups here, I have the possibility to create my own listings. For example, main statistics. If I edit it here, will show me the title and then which particular statistic graphs I decided to put in which order. The idea being I can print those whole graphs. So if you make the graphs smaller here, you will see there's many more. So I can print them, but I can also here go to that list of main statistics and I will only see the particular ones I entered. So there's many things you can do with graphs very easily. Right now I'm looking at patient visits and I'm looking at it daily. I enter my data every day. I can easily look at the total of the week. If I select weekly and I hover now with the mouse over a single dot, it'll give me the total for that week and below the breakdown. Where do these values come from? Of course, I could also do this all the way up to yearly for monthly or whatever. I can deactivate these nodes if I don't want to see them. That's just here. Okay. Now what I can also do is set a quota. So I can click on this button here and I can give myself a target. So in this case what I did is I deleted myself. I added a total target. What you see here is the cumulative values added for every day of the week. Right now I've selected here week by day, which means I can set a weekly target for this particular statistic. I enter data every day. So in this case, let's say I would like to enter a total of 30. That's what I had planned to reach. I can do that here. And then on my graph, I will see if I'm above or below that target. I can make this graph a bit more complex. I can show what the previous period was, in this case the previous week. So now I have two graphs. In black, that's the current week. in blue the previous week, in red what my target should be, so I can see I was higher the previous week in this case. I can also add, if I want, the individual values, really enter it for the patient visits. So that's also here. There we go. So on the left scale you'll have the actual patient visits. That's this grayish graph here. On the right scale you'll have cumulative data. A couple more things you can do which are really interesting. This graph is scaled automatically according to the references and policies built in the software. I can change that, of course. Let's say I want to see the whole year. This is a daily graph, but I want to see 52 weeks. I can just go here weekly. I can set this to the last week of the year of December of 2016, and I can put here 52 weeks. A bit small, but I can make this landscape, and I'm limited to the size of this video, so if I put this on the side, you'll see that now you have the full year of values. Okay. The other thing I can do is I can easily create a condition or a battle plan. So if I go to actions, first I have to make sure this is my statistic. So let me go to my post only. So in this case, I configured it in such a way that for this user marked nature, I have the rights of the receptionist, and this is one of my statistics. So in a nutshell, I can select this statistic in the actions menu. I'll use this because that's what's in our tutorial online. I can write a new condition. If I had more statistics or posts, it would be listed here. If I click next, I can take a look at the graph. This is scaled automatically to be correct, but you can change that if you need. Now I don't have data here. Let me go back to 2016. If I look at this last week here, if I want to write a weekly condition, I'm not sure. Let's say I'm not sure. I think this is normal. You have a visual aid here that helps you. This is what normal looks like, and this is what the normal trend is. Now this would be senior danger in this example. So if I click next here, all the steps of my formula are going to be entered, so I can write why I assigned this condition and enter more things here. And of course, when you're done, click on next, you have a report. I can print or save this report as a PDF file, and I'll have this statistic graph and all the information I entered here below. So you can also use that condition write-up to write a battle plan. If I click here, it'll show me I'll have a list of all the statistics write-ups, the condition write-ups I made. So if I selected this one and I can copy everything in here, and then I can create a battle plan. I can insert as many sections and subsections as I want, and I can itemize what I need to do. Give myself targets so that I can create graphs with quotas to see if I met them or not. So later I can come back and here check what it is that I've done and what's left to do in my battle plan. And if I click on next here, I'll see the list of what's on my battle plan, if it's done or not. So I'd like to go back to one aspect, that is scaling. It's done automatically in the software according to the policies and the reference we've used and the references we've used. They can be accessed in help and support here. So this is the full manual to learn how to use dashboard administration. This part here, the theory, is more compilation from different sources of policies that have been used. So for example, if you go to statistic graphs, it'll really explain also how the scaling is done in the software with a good and a bad example. You can see how you can assign a condition, and it'll go in pretty much detail about how you can do that. The conditions are explicited as well, so there is a lot of information here. This is what's been used to scale the graphs automatically. And you can, of course, change the scale. There's two more things I'd like to go over. You can compare statistics. By that I mean you can overlay them and slide them in time, one compared to the other. And you can access the cloud features here, which are free and embedded in the software. So there's two ways you can compare graphs. In this case, I created a statistic which is taking the values for cash here and overlaying the value of bills automatically. So every time I enter something in my bills or in my cash graph, this one will automatically update. I can also do this on the fly. If I go to statistic comparisons, I can select, for example, here gross sales and the second one gross sales, and what I can do is now I only see one graph obviously, but I could change the time frame. If I do that, I can see that I can use this for analysis purposes mainly. How is one compared to the other? You can overlay up to 4 statistics. The final part that you can use is the cloud here. With this feature you control what's available on the cloud. That's a free feature to use. Here you can change your registration. If you have multiple companies, you can select which ones go online, which ones not. In each company, which group, which statistics, and also who has access to it and what kind of access. And that's basically it in a nutshell.